Alright, so today we're going to be doing the first 600-mile service on the Gas 700 Supermoto. So first thing we're going to do is take off this little bash cover and warm up the bike for about 2 minutes. And we'll go in the chest of goodies here. Next thing is going to be the oil change. But we do have all our future upgrades here. We got a dyno jet and some custom maps, Rottweiler intake, Tekmo full exhaust. We're going to do some carbon fiber covers today too. So let's see what we got in here. This looks like our oil, so grab that box. Let's get started. So if I read all this correct, what we're going to need is a 13 mil 1/4 inch drive with a 2 8 mils, 2 13 mils. I just grabbed the short and long. Set of metric Allens and a pair of needle nose. Get those filters out. So we got new crush washers and gaskets. We got 2 new filters that are going to go in there. We'll clean the screens, and then we got a nice 1050 that we're going to be throwing in there by Maxima Racing Oils. So stay tuned. Let's warm up the bike next. I also got these Tekmo engine covers. I already got the skid plate carbon fiber one that's in there, so I figure while I'm in there, throw those on today too. So this skid plate comes off really easy. It's just these 2 front 4mm Allens, and then these are just some plungers that go into the frame back here. So the whole thing should just slide off after we take these 2 out up front. All right, now that we got the 2 bolts out, this drops down and should just slide forward here. Easier said than done. All right, took a little finesse, but yeah, it's just these 2 back plungers that go into these 2 rubber biscuits back here. Pretty cool little design, but yeah, next we'll warm up the motor and we'll start draining out this old oil. All right, so we'll start her up, run her for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes. See here. All right, so we're doing a little premature. We got 560 miles on her, but I think that's close enough. It's been a great bike so far. Can't wait to open her up. Alright, exhaust is getting hot. And it's time to shut her down and drain her out. Alright, so we're on the left side of the bike. First one's going to be your drain plug, which is a 13mm. I already cracked it loose, so it wasn't that loose. This one has the crush washer on it, so that's what you're going to want to replace. Make sure you got your oil pan in the right spot. There we go. Let's make it in there. Let that drain out. We'll drain the screens next. Alright, so the plug's got a little magnet on it, so you want to clean that off. It's had a little debris on it, but that's normal after break-in. So we got a new crush washer here. We're just going to put that back on. Now that we got the oil drained out, we'll do the screens next. Alright, once you got the new crush washer in there, just do it hand tight until it stops, and then give it a good 1/8 of a turn. You should be good to go. So your first filter is going to be right next door to the drain plug, also a 13 mil. Working there with the shifter right in the way, but there we go. So that's what the first filter looks like. We'll clean that out. Replace the gaskets on there and put her back in. So let's do a closer inspection on this. There's a little debris on there, it looks like. Nothing to be concerned about. That's the job of this filter, to make sure stuff doesn't go back into your motor. So for screen number 1, obviously you want to clean it out first, but there's also 2 little gaskets at either end here that you want to change out, along with the main gasket for the filter hole. And then just a quick little reminder, there are 2 gaskets on the filter here too. So got 1 large one for the plug and 2 for the filter. All right, now that's all assembled, let's stick her back in. Same thing, you don't want to over torque these things. They're all about 10 foot-pounds would be plenty. But refer to your owner manual for exact. All right, and then for the oil filter up here, it's going to be an 8 mil.
Both these. Smells up.
There's no real good way to do that without getting oil all over the thing, but just clean all that up before we put it back together. There's not much space in here, so if you got a little pick or something, you can get in the edge to bring it out. Just kind of work it out like that. There we go. There's the old filter. Take a closer look at that too. It's pretty good. There's the KTM part number. So this is going to be the bigger of the 2 filters. So on this high flow filter premium, it's called the HF 155. KTM is called, well, that number right there. You can pause the video if you need it. The filter appears to be the same, so it's got the gasket on the bottom, so does this one. So we'll plug that one back in. It's all nice and clean in there. Put the new filter in. Juice on the gasket there. And just presses it in about 3/8 of an inch. Or how many millimeters would that be? 6 mil. And then also we got a new gasket we can put on the cover here. So we'll pull that off. All right, and same thing with this. You just want to tighten them up until they're snug. And these are just little bitty bolts going into aluminum, so you don't have to get crazy with these. Last thing you want to do is make your oil change a 1-month project trying to get something remachined or finding a tap. So snug, and then just 1/8. That's it. So this side's done. We'll clean up this oil. We got the drain, filter number 1, or screen number 1, filter number 1, and on the other side we'll have screen number 2 and filter number 2. All right, so we're over here on the right side of the bike now, where the oil fill is, and we got our other screen over here, which is also a 13 mil. Same thing, we're gonna have 3 gaskets on here, 1 on the plug, 2 on the screen. I'll clean this one off. Second screen, no debris, good to go. Nice and clean, so we'll change the gaskets on this. So now we got all the new gaskets on there. Same thing, plug it back in. And a 13 mil, tighten her up. Again, you don't have to go over tight with this thing. You just do it till it stops. Finger tight, like that. And just give it 1/16. Should be good to go. And the last filter on the bike is right side, just above your fiddle. Again, 2 8mm. I'll take this cap right off, and this will be the small filter we're changing. We're only gonna have one gasket to change. It's the last gasket out of 9. We got 8 rubber, 1 copper crush. And I think it's 1.7 liters of oil. What goes back in there. But we'll put about 1.5. Run the bike for a minute, see where we're at, so we don't overfill the motor. That's no good either. Alright, that just comes right off. Again, we got a KTM filter there. Take our pliers. There we go. And out she comes. Looks good. So again, the filters look good. Looks like they're the same size. They got gaskets on both sides, so KTM is going to be that number if you want to pause it. Or this high flow filters is a 651. And the KTM came out letters out, so we're going to do letters out on this one, even though they look identical. So this is going to pop in, and it should seal that gasket. So it goes in, again, about 5-6 mil, or 3/8 for you Americans. Put the cap back on with our new gasket, which is right here. Last of the 9. And back in with our 2 8mm screws. Alright, so next we're going to fill up the oil. Phone died, so I had to charge it for a minute. But we got our fill right here. Our plug. So at 1 quart in, we're just at the very bottom of the screen at level. So I'll put another half in there and see where we're at. And so we got 1.5 quarts in there. Let's put the bike back to level. And as you can see, we're right in the middle of the window there. So we'll fire the bike up, let it warm up, fill the filters, and do a recheck. All right, cap's back on. Turn the key. Fire up. The change in noise took about 2 seconds. That sounds nice and butter now. Let that warm up a little bit. Don't see any leaks so far. Left side. Let her warm up. Do a recheck on the level. And it's time for a test ride. All right, we've been idling for about 5 minutes now, so I'm gonna shut that off. Get the bike back about level. That's what level. See, it's at the bottom of the red circle now, so we'll add a little bit more oil. We should be all set then. Alright, so I added about 6 to 8 ounces more. It's about 150 to 200 milliliters for all you Europeans. And we were right slap dab in the middle of the window where we want to be. So it's about 1.6, 1.7 liters. And the bike's full. Now we're ready to rip on her. Stay tuned. So we're installing the Tekmo carbon fiber engine covers here. And I knew I was waiting to do the oil change for this for some reason, but I already did the oil change and I see why now. We have to move that filter line in order to get this cover on, so we'll we got extra oil, so no issue. It's just gonna be these two 8mm bolts for the filter. We'll take these 4 screws out, which hold it together. These are all 8mm as well. So it looks like the cover only needed 3, but we do have 3 different size bolts here. Well, 2 different size. The front 2 are 1 length, and this rear is a little bit longer, so pay attention to which one you took out of which hole. Alright, that's looking pretty snazzy already. Got those 3 bolts in. Just want them hand tight, just maybe another 1/16. Just holding that gasket on real light, so no need to crank on them. Put your filter cap back on. And back with the 2 8mm. Alright, and then back over on the left side of the bike, we'll install this cover. It looks like it will fit over the shifter if you shift it down. So we just got 1, 2, 3 bolts, all 8mm. It's every other, so you're not breaking the seal, which is good. I'll put that on next. Now again, you got to pay attention. You got a short, and a longer one. This is going to be short right here, short, and this was the longer bolt right here. You don't want to be running longer bolts into shorter holes. That's how you run into issues. All right, that's what she looks like all done. Still gonna run the bike for a few minutes around the block, make sure there's no leaks underneath all the bolts that we took out and the seals. And then after that, we'll put on the bottom plate. All right, look at all the carbon on there. It's looking decent.